Now, I want to kick off this review by asking the both of you, what do you think about Wes Anderson? Like, what do you think? How do you get on with Wes Anderson?
I am in favor of him. I like him. I like that the fact that his films don't exist on the same universe as the rest of us today. They're they look like they should be, contemporary, modern world, but they're just not, aren't they? People don't behave like normal people. Everything is stylized, everything is slightly off kilter, and it's slightly like, "Nyeh." So, but
Yep.
I actually like that. So I loved sort of Grand Budapest Hotel, um, Rushmore, Royal Tenenbaums, all those things. And was it the one with is it the one about the Boy Scouts? Is it the Magic Kingdom or something? Or the Magic
Moonrise Kingdom.
Moonrise Kingdom? Loved that with Bill Murray. Yeah, so I like that sort of. It's quirky, it's nuts, it doesn't bear any resemblance to the real world, but I like it.
And Holly?
I generally like them. I'm not sort of desperate to see all of Wes Anderson, but on balance, I usually enjoy them.
All right.
And find them enjoyably quirky. And I have been to the exhibition of photography of places around the world that are Wes Anderson-esque. Is it called Being Wes Anderson? Something like that. It's an excellent like, art exhibition.
I,
Travels the world with pictures and things, or things that look like they're straight out of Wes Anderson.
yes. Yeah, okay, because the thing about, bearing in mind that we had the voice note the other week talking about how there's nothing original in cinema, I always think that Wes Anderson, whatever you think about him, at least he's original. You you can sort of like say there is truly nobody like him that doing stuff. And I ask that because if you like Wes Anderson stuff, I think this is a film for you. I think Wes Anderson movies are not, they're I find them a little bit difficult to even review because it's kind of like, it's about the world that he builds. And the world that he builds, I think for those people, because I was watching this film and within 5 minutes you're like, yep, we're in Wes Anderson land. So like, you're just kind of like, we're in Wes Anderson land, we're in his house now. And if you like that, I can imagine that that's almost kind of like a warm, comforting hug where you're like, yes, we're in Wes Anderson land. I don't really care what happens now because, let's be honest, some of it is going to be off kilter and will kind of make sense, but maybe not. But I'm here, I'm happy, warm hug, let's go. And so it is. So for the plot of this film, for what it is that you meet a guy called Anatoly Zsa Korda, played by Benicio del Toro, who, if I'm correct, is the first time he's been in a Wes Anderson movie. And he wasn't somebody who you think would be a good fit for a Wes Anderson film, but it actually works surprisingly well. And he is this rich oil man in the 1950s. He's just like, he has loads of money and he has enough money to sort of like force governments to do what he was because he keeps going on and destabilizing governments and economies and all that with what he does. And the film is named after the Phoenician scheme because he has this scheme where this big convoluted scheme that he's going to use to do something in this place. And his word is to bring prosperity to an area of the world, obviously this is like, as you say, parallel universe, which is Wes Anderson stuff. It's this weird, it's a country that seems like it might be a little bit Middle Eastern, but then again you have Tom Hanks and Bryan Cranston that show up as these two brothers called Leyland and Reagan, and there's all these, and so you have Scarlett Johansson shows up in the film, Benedict Cumberbatch is in it, Bill Murray shows up in a role that for a lot of people, a lot of Wes Anderson fans, a lot of Bill Murray fans will think that Bill Murray's role in this film is extremely fitting. And Willem Dafoe shows up, hardly has a line, and we have all these people.
He's in a lot of his films, isn't he? They just
Willem Dafoe is just kind of like wallpaper in a Wes Anderson film now at the moment. And so you have and they show up, and it's all about him having all these different sort of tete-a-tetes with them. You have Rupert Friend, who shows up at one point as a guy who is hell-bent on stopping Zsa Korda. And the plot seems to revolve around him. He has 11 children, 10 sons, 1 daughter, and the daughter is the oldest of them and is trained to be a nun. He gets her back from being a nun because he wants her to be his heir. The reasons why sort of like become are involved in the sort of convoluted plot as it goes along. There's a whole bunch of scenes where people explain what's going on and it's really convoluted and knotty, and you're like, I don't know about you, but after a while I'm kind of like, you know what? that's not the point. Let's just look at the pictures and let's just see the weird reactions people have to things and the sort of idiosyncratic ways they speak and all that. Michael Cera shows up for a while as a guy called Bjorn. It's so the film has a lot of stuff going on, and I rather enjoyed it. But I'm somebody who, I find Wes Anderson sometimes a little bit too stylized. I'm like, what are you doing this for? Is this a bit of style over substance? And there's development late in the film that's sort of like, it kind of resolves the storyline or resolves the driving plot of the film. And I'm started going, what just happened? Why did that happen? What? I don't get that. But judging by the people behind me who were laughing all the way through the film, who were just laughing their heads off throughout the film, that was it. I think I think by now you either get Wes Anderson or you don't. For me, I think his best film is still The Grand Budapest Hotel. I think it's his most accessible film. I think it's the film that you walk away thinking that wasn't just style over substance, that was actually saying something. And I feel like this film is a caper. It's a caper. It might be saying something about capitalism, but maybe not. I don't really know. It's just Wes Anderson doing his Wes Anderson thing. So all in all, I think I would give it just a 4. I would just about give it a 4, with the caveat that Wes Anderson might not necessarily be my thing. It's sometimes I find the characterizations hilarious sometimes, and sometimes I find them really annoying. I find them really annoying, and the whole thing's like, oh yes, I got what you're doing. Oh, look at it. Everything's symmetrical. Woohoo! Where's Anderson? But yeah. So 4 stars for me, and I think everybody. What I'll say is that every single performance in the film buys into the Wes Anderson of it all, and you can see that the reason that they want to work with him is that they want to. I think it's almost as if they want to see if they can do it, if they can fit into that word, because it's a very, very particular type of performance that you have to give to be in a Wes Anderson movie, and I think everybody is on their game and they do really well, and I like it. I like the performances, but the whole contraption around it, I'm just kind of like, oh, for goodness sake, come on. Sometimes, but I still think it's a very good film, and I'll give it a 4.